It's your art escort again from Cafe Letterario, and this video that we're going to talk about here is, let's see if I can get in front of the camera, The Life and Art of Ernest Ludwig Kirchner. And I'll show that one up close, and then I'll show you the back. This video, you know, there's a lot of movies out there in my review of this that unless you're an art fanatic or have some very strong purpose in learning about a particular topic, some of the videos and books I read you probably won't like. But since I'm an art addict, modern art addict, even when I don't like something, as long as I'm learning and there's some clarification and there's some education going on, I find it to be of value. This is all about his life, and what they've done here that I thought was really kind of interesting in this movie is, first of all, it's on a different language. The subtitles are in English, so you really have to pay attention, follow along, and they go to each of the locations of the different countries he lived in, different artworks that he painted. They actually try to go on scene and find the location of the building or the horses or the circus. They try to find the actual images and show you the images, and then afterwards comes in the his artwork. So then all of a sudden you go, oh, I can see what's happening now. And he loved painting nudes, definitely liked painting nudes, and he liked using unusual colors. There was a lot of greens and some oranges and blues. He did the people of a different level. He was considered, his art was considered degenerative by the Nazis, and in the end of his life he ended up committing suicide. But he had had some hardship and some challenges in his life. He was revolting against the time where it was an era where a lot of money was moving around and ladies were wearing big hats, and prostitution was kind of out of control during this time, during his life expectancy. And his father was adamant that he needed to have a real profession, so he went to school to be an architect, and but continued to paint. But then he found other students in the School of Architecture that wanted to be painters, and he created the friendships. And then there was a certain point in time that his father cut off his stipend, and he then needed to find a way to live. And he had more than one wife, and each of them had more stable jobs that could support him. It was really kind of interesting that he liked to go to places and lakes where people could be nude and run around nude, naked. What man wouldn't want that, right? And in the process of them running around nude, it conjured up images in their mind, and there was a lot of rocky bottoms at the water when they went into the water. So here they are nude, trying to teeter-totter going into the shoreline of the water on these rocks. So often when he painted them, he tried to paint their bodies in motion, and he also did some landscapes, but in the long run he ended up becoming ill and committed suicide. But he made a very significant statement in the art industry, in the art movement periods. So if you're an art nut, or you want to really learn about the lives of these artists, to understand how the social and economic times and the technology of the times may have affected their lives, and where this revolt against traditional art comes in, this movie is good at explaining why that happened. It's a autobiographical movie. Also, he had written short letters to people, so they have somebody reading his voices, or people who wrote him letters, or people who knew him. And it does a really good job of kind of setting the foundation of why he painted possibly the way he painted. So it's another one that I wouldn't recommend buying, but the truth is if you don't buy it, you probably can't watch it. And if you can get it cheap enough, then it would be worth it if you wanted to know about his life and the times and him fitting into that whole movement, and how he also went to war as a soldier and kind of had a nervous breakdown, couldn't handle it, probably PTSD, and then he got into different drug and alcohol addictions when he came out, which is very consistent with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So anyway, it's interesting, and at some point I will prepare an outline of all the details of his life, and then we'll go back over it. But for right now, we're just talking a little bit about that one. Okay, signing off from Cafe Letterario.